Since my bathroom videos were such a hit last week from the hotel, I thought I'd try one from my own bathroom. Okay. Genesis chapter 16, verse 3. Then Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar her maid, the Egyptian, and gave her to her husband, and Abram to her husband Abram to be his wife, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan. So he went into Hagar, and she conceived, and when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress became despised in her eyes. Then Sarah said to Abram, My wrong be upon you. I gave my maid into your embrace, and when she saw that she had conceived, I became despised in her eyes. The Lord judge between you and me. So Abram said to Sarai, Indeed, your maid is in your hand. Do to her as you please. And when Sarai dealt harshly with her, she fled from her presence. Now the angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring on the way to Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, where have you come from, and where are you going? And she said, I'm fleeing from the presence of my mistress Sarai. The angel of the Lord said to her, Return to your mistress and submit yourself under her hand. Then the angel of the Lord said to her, I will multiply your descendants exceedingly, so that they shall not be counted for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said to her, Behold, you are with child, and you shall bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has heard your affliction. He shall be a wild man. His hand shall be against every man, and every man's hand shall be against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. Then she called on the name of the Lord who spoke to her. You are the God who sees. For she said, Have I also here seen him who sees me? Therefore the well is called Bir Lahai Roi. Observe, it is between Kadesh and Bered. So Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram named his son whom Hagar bore Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. Big section of text, at least for us. But now, here we get to see some really good stuff. Now, the God who sees, El Roi. You know, what's beautiful about this story, other than, of course, there's no real beauty, I guess, in the, Sarai kicking her out, not liking her, things going wrong. Sometimes we have friends who do mean things. They kick us out and things go wrong, and we're mistreated by people whom we thought were our friends, and all sorts of stuff happens. But what's fascinating about this story is we have Hagar, who, really had no right bearing a son to Abraham. And here we have Ishmael, a son whom God is really not going to recognize in chapter 22 when God says to take Isaac, your only son, whom you love. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that God doesn't care about them and that God isn't concerned with their well-being. We see a few cool things take place here. We see in verse 7, the angel of the Lord appear. And we've talked about this, about how the angel of the Lord, it's a pre-incarnate appearance of Christ. We'll see Jacob wrestle with the angel of the Lord in chapter 32. We'll see the angel of the Lord show up to Abram, somewhere in chapter 18. And how do we know? Well, first off, again, it's that there's the definite article, the angel of the Lord. It's not an angel, it's the angel. And you'll notice what she says in verse 13. You are El Roi, the God who sees. And then she says here in verse 13, have I also here seen him who sees me? She realized, wait a minute, did I just see him who sees me in my affliction? I think there's something unique and special that the first person that the angel of the Lord appears, the first time we see this phrase in the Bible, Genesis chapter 16, verse 7, the angel of the Lord. I believe it was Jesus walking in the garden with Adam and Eve, but it doesn't say the angel of the Lord appeared. We don't have anything explicit, but here it's to a woman who's going to be the mother of Ishmael, who's the father of the Arab people. And many of his descendants were going to be perpetual enemies of the Jews. It talks about this guy was going to be a wild guy. In fact, it describes him as a donkey. For what it's worth, a literal translation would be he's going to be a wild ass of a man. It's kind of an interesting thing to have prophesied over your son, but he was going to be a powerful man, and he was going to be a man of a lot of conflict, because he was going to, it says, his hand would be against every man against his, but it would end up becoming a very powerful and widespread people. And I just like the fact that we see as she's fleeing, she's trying to run away from her problems. See, we run away from things that we don't want to be in the presence of, but the one thing we can't run away from is the presence of God. God sees, and he sees all. She calls him El Roi, the one who sees. And so it's just a simple reminder for us. God sees you. You can't run from him. You can't hide from him. And even when you just feel alone, you're not actively running, you're not actively hiding, but you feel hidden, you feel unseen. Well, this would show us it's never could be further from the truth. God sees you, God hears you, and God is more aware of the condition of your heart than you are. He's the one who knows the depths and the secrets of our hearts. And so here God sees Hagar. He responds to Hagar. He blesses Hagar. He directs and guides Hagar. And he'll do the same for you. So let us be thankful today that we serve El Roi, the God who sees. God bless you guys. Let me know if you want more Bible studies from my shower. Maybe next time we'll do the kitchen. Actually, I've kind of been in the kitchen when I'm at this house typically. But many more rooms to explore. You guys take care, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning.